If you're watching this video, it's probably because you want to learn how to make a great website. This video is going to give you a massive head start. I'm going to show you step by step from the beginning how to build a website. You'll find out exactly how to set up hosting and WordPress, and then I'm going to show you how to set up and build this exact web page right here. But you're not limited to the look of this web page right here. As a matter of fact, with the tools I'm going to show you how to use, you're going to be able to make a website that looks very similar to, say, Apple's website, or Microsoft's homepage, or Tesla Motors, or Spotify. All of these are great looking websites built by professional designers, and you're going to learn a tool that's going to let you build websites that look almost exactly like these websites. So let's look at some of the example sites that were made using this theme. I mean, look at this website here. It's beautiful, it's gorgeous. Check out this header, and when you scroll down, it's amazing. Here's another great example, another beautiful website, and you can build something like this without knowing code. I think that's so cool. Check this out. Another completely different look, still crisp, clean, nice. Different menu, different header, all done with the same theme. Now here's a completely different menu and a great looking website. Again, all with the same theme, and you can do all of this without having to know code. So if you're ready to make an awesome website for your business, your organization, or just for yourself, keep watching, and I'm going to show you exactly how to do it step by step right in this tutorial. I've included links to the sponsors providing the tools that we're going to use in this video. SiteGround, which is just an awesome, easy-to-use web host with great customer service, and then the Aveda theme, which you already saw those great examples from that make it easy for you to build a great website. So I want you to familiarize yourself with the two companies because we're going to be using them throughout the video. So go ahead, pause the video, scroll down to the description below this video, or if you're watching this on my website, I've also got it below the video on my website, and just go ahead and click on the links for the web hosting and for the Aveda theme, so you can go ahead and get to know these two companies. The first thing that we need to do to build our website is to have a place to build it, and I think that the best and easiest way to do it is to build it live online on a hosting company. I do have some alternative methods, and you can see those in the description below, but if you're just getting started and you want the easiest and best way to do it, just go ahead and build your site live online. Now, if you already have hosting that you're happy with, you can go ahead and skip this section. But in this section here, I'm going to show you how to get hosting for your website and how to install WordPress. So my recommended company, and I've got a link to them in the description below, is SiteGround. And you can see the plans that they've got here. And these guys are really great. They don't give you anything extra that you don't need, and they provide a really great service. Plus, I found their support to be amazing and really nice and friendly. So you can see we have an introductory price of $3.95, and then they also, what I like about these guys is they show you what the price goes up to. Some other hosting companies try to trick you by just showing an introductory price, and you think that it's that way forever, but it's not. And I think that for most people, the startup standard price here is going to be just fine. If you need additional space and your site starts growing really fast and you get a lot of visitors, you can very easily move up to another hosting plan, so no problem. So just go ahead and click Get Started. And then if you want to register a new domain, you can do that here, and that's included free on sign up. And if you already have a domain, then you can enter it in here, and it'll give you the instructions to forward that domain information to your new server. But let's go ahead and just create a new domain. I mean, it's free after all. And then just click Proceed. Okay, then just go ahead here and fill out all of your billing information. There are a couple of extra things down here. We've got domain privacy, which is $1 a month, and this will hide your personal information from your Whois site, so we'll have generic information. That way your phone number and your address aren't online. I think that's a good idea and a good thing to do, and it's really not that much money to add. And then you've got hack alert monitoring, which will monitor your site for malicious code, and unfortunately that has kind of become an issue recently. So that's I would say that either one of those are optional. I recommend putting both of them on. I think it's just good protection for yourself, but you can skip those if you choose. And then just go ahead and click Pay Now. So then after signing up for your account, you're going to be asked to verify your order, and they may have you either do an online chat or give you a call on the phone. And this is just part of the great security measures that SiteGround takes to make sure that your credit card information isn't being stolen and that you're a valid person. I mean, SiteGround really takes security seriously, so that's really important. You're going to receive 2 emails. One of them that looks like this, and that's going to have the username to use to log into the SiteGround area, which is different than your WordPress website, and then the password that you created during login. And then the second email you'll get is if you registered a new domain name, they're just going to ask to verify the information that you filled out is accurate, so that they've got accurate information about who registered that domain name. So then let's go ahead and get started, and we do that by opening up this email here and clicking to log into the customer area. And then I've already signed in once here, so it's already filled out my information, but you'll just have to enter in your information and the password that you created and then click sign in. So here we are on our hosting company's panel. So then to get started, we want to go to My Accounts. And then this has all of the information about the domain name that we signed up for here on the bottom, as well as the other information about our hosting company and email, if you want to use email on your domain. And to get started, we go to cPanel. So this here is the cPanel. There's not really much you need to do here. The only thing we really need to do right now is install WordPress on our computer. So to do that, we can either click on WordPress Auto Installer here or down here. So let's go ahead and click on that. And what's great about this installer is that it's going to install WordPress correctly. It's going to make sure that everything's configured just right for what you need. So let's go ahead and just click on Install. So we can go ahead and set up our protocol here. So that's whether it's HTTP or HTTP www or HTTPS or HTTPS www. So that's really a preference that you're going to have, is whether you want the www to appear or not. So in this case, I'm going to have it not appear. I'm just going to use the default. And then you want to choose the domain name that you want it to be installed on. I only have one domain on this account, so it's just going to install directly to that. And this is if you wanted to have it installed on a separate directory so that your main WordPress install was not at your main URL.com. I don't recommend that. For most people, you're just going to want it right at your regular URL, so we're just going to leave that alone. And then you want to fill out this information here, and it's going to auto-enter it into WordPress as part of the install. So we've got our site name, and then you do need to give your site a description. And you want to make that something related to what your website is about. We do not want to enable multi-site, so don't worry about that. And then we want to set up the admin account, and this is going to be for the WordPress setup. And again, I want to recommend that you use a robust name here. You don't want to use something like admin. You want to use something creative that somebody isn't going to be able to guess easily, because unfortunately there's hackers out there, and they will try every basic username, and they will try every basic password and every common password and other password combinations. So you really want to use strong username here and a strong password. And then building websites, I definitely recommend that you use a password storage system of some kind. I personally use LastPass, so you can consider using LastPass, but there's other ones like 1Password also that you can use. But definitely you want to use something robust. And then you want to enter in an admin email here. I recommend using an email address that's separate from your website for now, and then you can change it to your email address at your own domain name later on if you want to. But for right now, use something that you have access to. And then select your language. And then this first plugin, I definitely recommend that you install, which is the Limit Login Attempts, and that will help protect your website from hackers trying to log in and just use every single password and username combination. So that's a good one to have. And then we don't want to install a theme because we want to be able to pick our own theme. And the advanced options you don't need to worry about, and then just click install. And we've got this little data bar here that's showing us that the installation is taking place. And there we go. Now we know that the installation has been completed successfully, and it's been installed on our domain that we've created. And we've got this link here, which is to the administration area for our new website. And you'll also receive an email with this information. So let's go ahead and log into the panel of our website. And then just click Login. So this is the back end of our website, and this is where we're going to be making a lot of the changes to our website, is right here. So let's just make sure that everything's configured the way we want it. So the first thing I like to do is just check the plugins. And we've got some extra plugins here we don't need, like the Hello Dolly plugin. And this Akismet plugin is actually a really good plugin once your website's established and you've got lots of comments on it. But I'd recommend not activating it and maybe even deleting it now until you need it. I also personally don't use the Jetpack plugin. I recommend just deactivating it and then deleting it. There we go. So we've got the Limit Login plugin that was installed for us. And then let's just check our pages. Good, no pages were found. We've got this one default post. We don't need that, so we can just click on Trash. And then we want to check just one more thing, and that is we want to go to Settings and then Permalinks. And then you want to make sure that this is set to post name. That's going to make search engine optimized and friendly URLs for all of our posts and pages. It's a really important thing to click. And we'll click on Save Changes. So there we go. Now we've got WordPress configured on our host, and we're ready to start building our website. So once you have WordPress installed and configured on your site, it's time to start by installing a theme. And the theme we're going to use is called the Avada theme. And this is the website where you can get the Avada theme. And I've actually got a link that will take you directly here, right in the description of this video, or right below this video here. Now, what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to set up an account on the Avada Marketplace with ThemeForest. And then once you have your account, go ahead and go to this page here, and then buy a license. And then after you've bought your license, you're going to want to go to your... They're going to send you some emails and verify that your account is all set up and ready to go. And then you're going to want to go to your account here by highlighting this and then going to Downloads. And then you want to download the installable WordPress file only. There's the All Files document, and this does have the installable WordPress file in it, but it's a little bit more complicated. You've got to unzip this file and then look for the zipped installable WordPress file because you actually upload the zipped file to your website. So let's go ahead and click on this and download that. Make sure you know where you download that because you're going to need to be able to find it later when you upload it to your website. And then let's go back over to our website. So then from our website here, we're going to go to Appearances, Themes, and then we're going to click on Add New. And then we're going to click on Upload Themes, and then you're going to choose the file that you want to upload. So here's the file here, and it's the zipped theme, and you want to make sure that you downloaded that installable WordPress file, and you do want to upload the zip file. So just click on that, and then we'll click on Install Now. So then after this theme file has uploaded to your website, it's going to go ahead and unpack and then install, and then all you got to do is just click Activate here, and that's going to make it your active theme on your website. And after you've activated the theme, you'll see this button here, which is the required plugin installation. So we'll go ahead and install that. So click on Go Install Plugin, and then click on Install here. And then we'll go to Return to Required Plugin Installers. And then we'll see here that there's a bunch of other plugins that we can install. I don't recommend installing any of these additional plugins. Any additional plugins that you install on your website that you don't need can cause potential problems later. Either an update might cause some sort of an error, or it might slow down your website. So unless you need one of these additional plugins, don't install it. And the base plugins that come with this theme are fantastic, and they're going to let you do so many things to make your website look great. So I recommend just using the core plugin that comes with the theme. Now we've also got this tab here called the Install Demos tab. And this has got all of the professionally made demos that have been made by the Avada professional designers that they have, and they're great looking demos. And I definitely recommend using them to sort of reverse engineer some of the looks that you like that are on these demos. Now if you click the Install button here, it's going to install it to your website, and it's actually going to write over a bunch of stuff on your website, all of the settings. It's going to add a bunch of posts and pages and things like that. So I don't recommend doing it on the actual site that you're building and using. I've got a couple of demos that show you how to install WordPress on either your Windows computer or on your Mac computer, and I would recommend using that technique of installing it with WordPress on your computer to install some of these demos so that you can go back and look at how the professional designers configured their sites to get the certain looks. So if there's certain looks that you like and you want to implement on your site, you can download the demo for that and then look at exactly how they do it. Now in this tutorial, I'm going to walk you through exactly how to build a page, and I'm going to show you how a lot of the different elements works, but obviously I can't show you how everything works. So now let's go ahead, and I'm going to give you the the shortcut technique to configuring the Aveda theme so that it matches your branding and your website. So to start with that, you either want to go to the Aveda menu up here and then to theme options, or the Aveda menu on the dashboard over here and click on theme options. The first thing that I like to do is install my logo, and usually I like to base all of my branding off of the logo for the website. So to install your logo on your website, click remove here to remove the default Aveda logo, and then click on upload. And then I'm just going to drag in my logo file here. And now I've chosen a logo file of 250 by 125. I think that's a great looking size for a logo on this website. So then we're going to click select. Now we've added this logo to our website. And then the next thing I like to do is to get the colors that match the branding of our website. So I'm going to base the colors off of the logo of this website. So to do that, we want to go down here to styling. And then we've got a choice of the theme skin, so that's mainly the background of the main pages of our website. So I like light for this website, but they also have got dark, so it's sort of like a dark gray background with lighter text. That's another option. And we've got this predefined color scheme here, and it's set to green, and there's several other options here. I think that it's much better to go with your own custom options. I would recommend just leaving this setting alone. Just know that if you decide later to change this setting, that it's going to overwrite any custom settings that you've set up down here. So with the Aveda theme, it's actually pretty easy to figure out which colors we need to change, which highlight colors we need to change to match our logo and our website, because we've got this bright green color here that was the Aveda highlight color, and now we can just change that to our highlight color. So I'm going off of the main logo color for this website, so I'm just going to click select color here, and then you can either use the color picker here, or if you want to be precise, and I definitely recommend with the colors that they're consistent throughout your entire website that you be precise, that you find out what the hex code is for it, and then you just paste that in. So we've got another one here for the header backdrop color, and then that's it there. Under element colors here, and the rollover image gradient color. And that's it there. Okay, and then let's go down here to the main menu colors. And let's change this to our color there, and that's it there. And everything else is pretty much neutral colors, so chances are you can leave them alone, but of course, if there's something specific that you would like to change the color of, you can probably find it in here. So now there's one more place where we want to change our colors, and that's in this shortcodes section. And there's the button shortcode section here, and this is sort of the default buttons that you can add to your website. And we've got these two colors here, the button gradient top color and button gradient bottom color. And if you want your button to be just one color without a gradient, you just put in the same code for both of these. And that's what I'm going to do here. And then we want to add a slightly different color for the hover over color. So this is when you hover over a button like this, the color will change slightly so people know that that's an active button. So I've got my slightly different color here. There we go. And then if you want to use the 3D buttons, you might want to add in a shadow color for that. I'm not actually going to use any of the 3D buttons, but I'm just going to put it in there just in case later on I decide I don't have to figure out all over again where the settings are for that. And now there's a couple more places on here where we're going to want to put in our highlight color. So some of the different elements, which is what they call the items that you can put into your layouts, have got highlight colors also that we'll want to change. So under the checklist shortcode, I'm going to want to change that to our default highlight color. And then under contact boxes shortcode, and then under countdown shortcode, we've got the countdown background color. And under the counter boxes shortcode. And if you want step-by-step instructions on how to do this, and you like to look at written instructions, and if you like to look at written instructions, you can go over to realwebsitehints.com/Aveda tutorial, and I've got all of the instructions written out there for this. We've got counter circles shortcode, drop cap shortcode, Flipboxes shortcode. And it's just, really easy to figure out where you need to go because you've got all that bright green, as I said before, so that does make it really nice. Pricing table shortcode. And the last one is the progress bar shortcode. And what's really important here is that you click Save All Changes. Make sure your changes get saved. And the next thing I like to do is to change the typography setting, to sort of get the typography that I want on my website. So then in the typography, I definitely recommend using Google Fonts, sort of the easiest thing to do and sort of the most recognized across the web. And you might have a different look that you want for your fonts, but I'm just going to show you an example and change these fonts here. So I changed this one here to Equestrial. Then I changed the menu font to Montserrat, I believe is how you pronounce it. And then the heading font I changed to Playfair Display. And then the footer fonts I changed to Playfair Display SC. And I did the same for the select button font. And then I left these settings the same. And then the other thing that I did is I changed all of the font sizes because I wanted to make sure that my readers could easily read the content that's on my website. So I bumped up all of these standard font sizes by 2. So don't waste your time. I'm just going to go ahead and skip ahead to after I've changed all of these. And for the heading font sizes, I wanted these to be a lot bigger, so I tended to bump them up by about 20 or so on each of these, just to make sure that it was really easy for my viewers to read the titles on my website. And so as not to waste your time, I'm just going to go ahead and skip ahead to after I've adjusted all of these. And then on the post title font, I just bumped these up by 2. Okay, and then after you've made all of those changes, make sure you go up here and click Save All Changes. All right, so let's go ahead and check out what the front page of our website looks like with the Avada theme. So we'll click on here and then we'll click on Visit Site. And make sure, just want to reiterate, make sure you click Save All Changes so you don't have to go back through and make all those changes again. All right, so go over here and click on Visit Site. And there we go. So we can't see much right now, but you can see that when we roll over links, that we've got our highlight color in there. You can see our logo has been put in. Now the one thing I don't like, and the theme does put this in by default, is this what they call a title bar here. So let's go ahead and remove that so that it doesn't show up by default on every single page we create. It's pretty easy to add in. There's settings for each individual page, so if you want this title bar to show up on individual pages, you can have that happen. So to remove this title bar, we go to the Avada menu here, and then we go to Theme Options. And then over here on the left, we look for the Page Title Bar tab. And then under Page Title Bar, we click on Hide, and then click Save All Changes. And then once you've finished making all of the changes that you want to the default settings in the Avada theme, I recommend scrolling down here, clicking on the Backup tab, and then clicking Backup Options. And that's going to back up all of those changes that we just made to our settings. Okay, so the next thing to do is to start building the homepage of our website. So to do that, we're going to make a couple of new pages actually, one for our homepage and then one for our blog posts. So we can get rid of this sample page here. We can click Trash on that. And then we're going to click up here and we're going to click Add New to add a new page. And then since this is going to be our home page, we're going to call it Home. And then I like to just activate the Fusion Page Builder because I know we're going to be using that for our home page. And we're going to go into how all of these settings work on this page. For right now, just click Publish. And then let's add one more new page, and this is going to be the page where all of our posts are going to show up. So you can call this whatever you want. You might want to call it like News or something that relates to your industry or your company, but for this example, I'm just going to call it Blog. And then click on Publish. And we don't need to do anything else to this page. The theme and WordPress are going to default to adding our posts as we create them to this page as soon as we set that up. So now there's two ways of setting this up. We can either go to Settings, Reading, And then we can click here. We can do a static page, and we'll set our front page to home, and then our posts page, which will be for our blog posts, to the blog page that we just created. And then if you want to change some of the settings for your posts, you can change them here. One thing I like to change is from full text to summary. Otherwise, on your blog page, every single post that you put will have the entire text on the page, and then the next post will show up after the full text from your first blog post has showed up. So this way, this will just show a summary of the text from your blog posts, and then you'll get more than one post probably on each listing. And then we'll click Save Changes. And now there's one other place where you can edit some of these settings here, and this is kind of a new thing that WordPress has started doing in the last couple of years, and that is if you go to your visit site up here, and then you go to Customize, we've got several settings. Some of these don't apply really to this theme, but like the menus applies, and we're going to look at that a little bit later. And then the static front page, this is the same settings that we just changed in the settings reading section of our website. Okay, so let's go back to our dashboard. And now from the example page that I showed you, that hotel page, the first thing that I created was a giant full window image of the hotel. And so I'm going to show you how to do that, and we actually don't do that directly on the home page, but we use a Fusion slider here. So to create a new slider, we go to Add or Edit Sliders, and so this sliders function is where we put our slides. And you can actually choose just one slide and have just one image, and that's what we're going to do for this. So we're going to call this slider home page, and then we're going to scroll down here, and this setting here where it says full screen slider will make it so that when our viewers first come to our page, that the image fills up the entire screen, or actually the entire window for our website. And then I'm also going to check this parallax scrolling effect here, and this effect sort of makes it look like the content that's coming up from lower is actually going up and over the original image, and I just kind of like that effect. And then we'll click on, scroll down here to the bottom, we'll click on Add Slider, and we'll scroll up here, and then you can see that the home page slider has been added. And the next thing we need to do is to add some slides to this slider. So we click over here underneath the Fusion slider, which is Add and Edit Slides, and then go over here to Add New Slide, and then we're going to call this one Home 1, just in case we decide later on to add more slides. We'll have some reference to what this is. And then the background type, the default is image, and that's what we're going to use for this. The content alignment is the content or the text that we're going to type into our slide, and we want that to be aligned center. And so for the headline text, I'm going to use the title of Hotel Malta. And then we're not going to choose a separator for this, but this would go next to the text if we wanted it to be there, and there's various different styles. And then we have this option for a heading font size. And I wanted to make this fairly large, so I changed this to 82. And then, of course, you can adjust the color, but I happen to like the default color. And heading background, yes. This is going to put a background around the text to make it easier to read and separate it from the background image. So yes is good for that. And I liked the default background color, so I'm going to leave that alone. And then the caption area, we can add a little bit more text here. Just going to paste in some text that I've already written. And for this one here, let's do a caption separator of single solid, just to see what that looks like. And we're going to adjust the font size up a little bit here. We're going to make this 60. And then caption background, again, that'll make that sort of separation between the text and the image so it's easier to read for our viewers. And then here we've got some settings for buttons. And you can also choose to have just the full slide be one big giant button. But in this case, let's look at this button thing, because this is a little bit confusing in this theme. They've done a really good job of making the settings so easy in so much of this theme, but this is one of those things that's a little bit tricky. So first of all, this is what we call a short code, and it's sort of supposed to be an easier to read style of coding that WordPress came up with. And it's fairly easy to read. I mean, you can definitely, everything's very well written and described. but it's still a little bit confusing. So we're going to start off actually by removing this button 2 because we just want one button on our site. And then here where it says button link, this is where you would type in the URL for the page that you want the button to go to. In this case, we don't have any other pages and we don't have a place where we want it to go to. So this is a place marker. We're going to put in the hash. And that way, if any sort of styling things require require a link for us to see what it looks like the rollover only works if there's actually a link involved in it. The hash will allow us to see what the button's going to look and feel like, and then we can later on come back in and type in the actual URL that we want this page to go to. And then the next thing we want to change is the button text, or what the button says, and that's sort of right here at the end, and we're just going to call this Learn More. And now the default color for this button is going to be the highlight color that we already added in the shortcut, so we don't need to worry about the color. If you didn't want to try to adjust some of these settings the button comes with, you can click on this link here and it takes you to a well-written page that talks about how to make changes to the look of the button. And then scroll to the top and click Publish, and that's going to publish this button. Actually, there's one more thing we need to do, which was we need to add it to that slider that we created. So we're going to click on Homepage here. It's going to add it to that Homepage slider, and then we'll click on Update. And now the next thing to do is to add this to our homepage. So let's go back over here to Pages, All Pages, and then we're going to edit the home page. So you can click here or you can click on Edit. And we're going to scroll down to the bottom here. So these are the page settings, and there's lots of different settings to customize the look of this specific page. And one of them is this Sliders tab, the very first tab. So slider position default works out fine, but let's have it be below because we want basically our header and menu bar to be at the top and then the image to be below that. And then for the slider type, we've got the Fusion slider installed, and that's what we're using, so we're going to select Fusion slider. We don't have a layer slider, so we can ignore this. And then for Fusion slider, we need to choose which slider we want to show. So that would be the home page slider that we just created. And then all we've got to do is click on Update up here to save our settings. You always want to remember, anytime you're adjusting any settings on the home page, before you're finished and want to view the page, click Update. Otherwise, your settings will get lost. Really important, something I forget to do often, and it's frustrating to have to go back and change all my settings. So make sure you always push this Update button here. And now let's go ahead and view what that looks like. So if we click on View Page up here, we see that we've got this image here, but it looks like I forgot to add a background to the slider. So let's go ahead and add that background image. So we'll go back over here and we'll click on Dashboard. We'll go over to the Fusion slider, Add or Edit Slides. We'll edit the Home 1 slide. And yep, here it is. I forgot to put in a slider image. So we'll click on Set Featured Image. Then we're going to upload a file, and I've already have a file here that I've selected. I'm just going to drag this in. So I recommend using a large image here. It's going to fill up the entire window. Probably actually a larger image than this 1280 by 720. I would probably recommend something like 1440 by 900 approximately for this image. And you want to make sure that you're always uploading an optimized image so that it loads quickly for your viewers and that your page speed is really good because that's important for your Google rankings. And then we'll go ahead and click Set Featured Image, and then we'll click Update here. Now let's go back and check out our home page. There we go. So now we've got this great looking full window, as you can see, image. The one thing we want to do next is we want to change this header here so that it's transparent, so it looks like our image really stretches across the whole screen here. So let's go ahead and do that. So you can click on Edit Page up here. And we can scroll down here to this header tab, and then we can change this background opacity here to 0, and that's going to take all the color away from the background of the header and make it just clear. So click on that, click on Update over here, and let's see what that looks like. So there we go. So now we've got our logo up here. Eventually, at the end, we're going to fill out our menu, and our menu is going to show up right here. But this is a great looking start for our website. Let's go ahead and add some more content to our homepage here. So we're going to click on Edit Page. And now we're going to start using the Fusion Page Builder. So page builders are a really great way of adding content and customizing the look of your page easily. And we've got the two main functions that you're going to use in your page builder are the column options. So we're going to add in a full width container, and that's where we're going to put our content. And if you wanted to have different columns, so that you want to separate out the widths of the different sections inside this container, you could drop in these elements here. For our first container, we're just going to use a full width image. And then to add text or any other sort of element in here, we click on this Builder Elements, and we're going to start with a image. So we're going to use the image frame. I'm going to drag that in here. And that's the other great thing about this is after you've started setting things up, if you just want to move things around, you can just click them and drag them around. We only have one thing set up right now, so there's no point in doing that, but that's what you can do. So now let's go over here to this pen tool, and that's how we make adjustments to each of the elements. So then what we're going to do is we're going to scroll down here a little ways, and we're going to get to this image section, and that's where we're going to upload and add the image that we want to put in. So just click on Upload here. And I'm going to use a logo image, but I'm going to use a slightly larger logo image. So I'm going to upload a new logo file. I'm just going to drag this in here. I'm going to click on the Insert into Page at the bottom right here. And then we're going to click on Save. And then let's add some text right below this. So we're going to look for the text block. And all of this stuff is in alphabetical order here. And then we're just going to drag in the text block there. And then we're going to edit this. And then we're going to center the text here, and then we're going to add in kind of a little headline text here. So I'm going to copy this in and paste it in. And then center this. And then to sort of modify the size of this or the style tag, we need to use this toolbar toggle here. So we're going to click on that, and then just highlight this text here, and then we're going to use the heading 3 tag for this. And then we're going to click Save down here. And now let's add a separator between this text and the next section of text. So just drag that separator in there. Use the pen tool to adjust it. I'm going to change the style to single border solid. And we want to add the margin top. So this is the space between the line that it's going to draw and the space above the line, and then the margin bottom is the space below the line. So let's make this the margin top 40, and then the margin bottom 50. And then let's use the highlight color for the color of this little bar that's going to separate things. So we're just going to click on that and paste that in here. And then we'll just click Save on the bottom. Okay, and then below that, let's add some more text and then an image over on this side. So to do that, we're going to use the column options, and we're going to drag a 1/3 block below that separator, and we're going to drag a 2/3 block below that. And if you sort of decide that later on that you want to change the widths of these, you can always click this plus and minus buttons to change the widths of these sections that you add in. So let's go ahead and add a text block to this side here. So click on Builder Elements and then Text Block. We'll drag that in right there, and we'll give it some text. And then we want to center this and make this nice and large. So we're going to center that, and then we're going to use the H1 tag to make it big. And then below that, we're going to add just some text about our hotel. And this is just filler text that I've got here. And then we're going to click on Save. And then below that, we want to add a button. So to add a button, we go over here and we find the button element. And we drag it in right below that text that we just put in. And we need to make some modifications to this button. So the button URL, we're going to add a hash in as a placeholder until we make the page that button's going to lead to. So then for the button style, we want to use custom. And then for the size, we want to use extra large. For the button shape, we want to make this square. And the button's title, so this is the title that's going to appear on the button, we'll make Reserve Now. And then for the top gradient color, let's go ahead and add in our main highlight color. And then we'll do the same for the bottom color since we don't actually want to have a gradient on this. And then we'll use our hover over color for the gradient hover and top and bottom. And we don't need an accent color. And then the next thing we need to do is let's add a little icon to this to make it sort of look more interesting. I'll use this little kind of right arrow or caret icon here. And then we'll have the icon position. Let's make this on the right. And then let's use a divider just to give a little bit of separation between the text and the icon there. And then click Save at the bottom. And then the final thing that we're going to do for this section that we're going to build is we're just going to add an image of our hotel here. So we're going to go to Image Frame, drag that in here. I'm going to edit this. So for the frame style, we're going to choose Drop Shadow. For the hover type, we're going to choose Zoom In just to show what that looks like. It's kind of a neat little effect. We're going to make the border size 2 pixels. And we're going to leave the border color alone. Border radius, this would be if you wanted the edges or the corners around it, you could add a border radius. And we're going to change the alignment of the image to center. And we don't want an image lightbox, so we're going to leave those settings alone. And then we're going to upload the image that we want to use here. So I've already got an image picked out. And then let's just drag this in here. There we go. And then we'll click on Insert into Page. And then we'll click Save. And let's be sure to click the Update button here. Okay, and then let's see what our page looks like. So we go now, as we scroll down, we can see that this white bar comes up to make sure that our header is easy and separated, and then our menu will appear here when we get to that. And so far, it's coming along. It looks pretty good. We do want this centered, and I think it would look really nice if we had a background image here, and also if this image here was a little bit larger. So let's go ahead and add a background image and center this image here. So let's go back to Edit Page, and we'll click on here, and then we're going to go down here to Align. We're going to change that to Center, and then we'll click Save. And then let's see what's going on with this image size here. Let's click on Edit, and let's change the size of the image over here to large. And we'll click Insert into Page, and we'll click Save. And now to add an image behind this entire section, we want to adjust the settings for the full width container here. So we're going to click on this. We're going to click on Background up here, and then we're going to select a background image. Now, I've already chosen a background image for this. So I'm going to drag that in here and make sure that it's set to full size. And so I definitely recommend a 1400 width image for this. And then click on Insert into Page. And then let's click Save. And I'll show you what that looks like. There's some other settings we need to change here, but I just want to show you what this looks like now, so that if you have the problem that I'm going to show you, you'll know how to fix it. So let's go ahead and click on Update. And then let's view the page now. So there we go. So we've got this background image here, but it's not going across the full width. And then this text is a little bit difficult to read because of the image that we've now put in the background. So what we need to do now is we need to add a background to this section here, and a background around the image might be nice just to separate it from the background image. And we want to make this image, this background image here, full width. So let's go ahead and do that now. We're going to click on Edit Page. And to make that background image full width, what we actually want to do is we're going to change the page template here to 100% width. And that's going to make these containers here go all the way across our page, including the background image that we did for this. And then for these sections here, to add a background to it, we're going to adjust the settings for this 1/3 section by using the pen icon next to it. We're going to scroll down, we're going to select a background color. I'm going to choose white. And we want to put some space around this background so that the text has got some space around it. So we're going to change the padding to 30 pixels. And we're going to click Save. And I'm going to do the same thing for this 1/3 inch section here. We're also going to want to choose Center Content Vertically. And we're going to change the background color to white. And then we're going to want to put some padding around this. So let's make that padding 20. And then click Save. And then let's go ahead and go to Update to update those changes that we just made. Clicking Save on any one of these items just makes the save temporarily until you click Update, and that saves all of the settings on the page. If you don't click Update, you're going to lose any settings that you've made over here. Let's go ahead and view our page now. So there we go. It's pretty nice looking so far. Let's keep going. Let's add some more sections to our page here. So we're going to go ahead and click Edit Page. And now, since we don't want the next section of our website to have the same background as this full width container, we're going to add another full width container. Another way of adding a full width container is you can either drag it down, or you can actually just click full width container, and it's automatically going to add it here. So let's try a different element. Let's try the tagline element. So under Builder Elements, click on Tagline, or Tagline Box rather. Add that in here. And let's edit that tagline box by clicking here. So we're going to want to make instead of the default color for the tagline box, we're going to use white. And we're going to make the border color dark gray. So you can either select it, or I'm just going to use the hex code for it, which is A5A5A5. And then we want to set the content alignment to center so that everything we put inside this box is going to be centered. And then we can, this feature comes with a button, so we can add some button text here. And then we're going to put in a temporary link here, which is going to be this hash. And then the button size, we're going to choose large. And the button type, we want to be flat. And the button shape to square. And the button color default is going to be fine because that's going to pull from the settings that we've already made. So let's add a title for our tagline here. And then let's add a description for our tagline. And then we could add a description here, but let's actually add the description in this text box down here. Okay, and then let's click save. So let's see what that looks like. Click update. Always remember to click update before you leave this page, and then click view page. There we go. So we got this fun little box here with some more information and a nice little button. So let's add some more. So click edit page. So let's add some information about our hotel spa. And we're going to use something very similar to this section right here. So we'll add a new full width container. Then we're going to add a 1/3 box and a 2/3 box. And now you can see the 1/3 and 2/3 get added below our full width container. But it's a good idea to always keep your content inside of a full width container. So we'll just drag those up into this container here. And then we'll order them correctly. Okay, so let's go ahead and drag in a text block into this 1/3 section. I'm going to use that as a title section, and we're going to actually have two different kinds of titles in that, or two different sizes of titles in that. So click on the text blocks, go ahead and drag it down, drag it into the 1/3 inch section here, click edit, and then let's add some text. So the first line of text, we're going to use the H3 tag. We're going to center that. And then the second line of text, we're going to center that also. And then we're going to make this a little bit larger, just to sort of give kind of an interesting look to this section here. And we're going to click save. And then after that, we're going to add a separator section below that to separate it from the text that we're going to have. Just drag that separator section in right below there, and then click edit. And we'll, for the style, we'll do a single border. Margin top, we'll make 30. Margin bottom, we'll make 30. And then the separator color, we'll use our highlight color. Paste that in right there. And then we don't want this to go all the way across. So for the separator width, we're going to use 20. And then click save. I'm going to add another text block below that with a description about this hotel spa. Just go ahead and enter in our text here and click save. And now in our 1/3 in section, let's add a little image of our spa here. I'm going to drag the image frame, add that in here. We'll click the frame style and make it drop shadow. The hover type, we'll just change it a little bit and we'll make it lift up. Border color, we'll use the A5, A5, A5. We'll make this border 2 pixels also, just to kind of separate it from the background. And then we'll scroll down here. We'll choose an alignment center. And image lightbox no. Then we'll upload the image that we want to use. And then we'll click insert into page. We'll click save. And now let's see what that looks like. So we'll click update. Great, that looks good. So we're going to add kind of an interesting section here next. We're going to have images that sort of fill up the entire width here, and then we're going to have some content, some text in the middle. So it's going to really make a nice divider for our website here. Let's go ahead and do that. So we're going to click on Edit Page, and let's click on Full Width Container here, and let's add 3 1/3 containers. So I'm just clicking the 1/3 container 3 times. That's going to automatically add it to the bottom of our page here. Drag that into that full width container. And now for each one of these, let's add a background for them. So for the first 1/3 container, I'm going to add a background image, and we want to also adjust some of the settings here. So we want to set the column spacing to no, so that there was no spacing between the columns. There's not going to be any content in this, so that doesn't matter. And then we're going to add a background image. Go ahead and upload a background image here. Look at this romantic image, this romantic dinner image here. And make sure it's full size and click Insert into Page. And then click Save. And we're going to have a background image in this last section too. Let's go ahead and change that. So we'll change the column spacing to no. And we'll add a background image. And this last image here, all the other images on the website are images that I've taken, actually, except for this image here and this beach image. And I've got a blog post, realwebsiteints.com/free images, that'll show you where you can get free images to use on your website. Let's go ahead and insert this into the page, and then click Save. And then for this middle section, we're going to give it a background color, and we're going to add some text in here. So we're going to go Select Color. I've already sort of selected the color that I want to use. And then one more thing we want to do here is make sure there's some spacing around the text that we're going to add in this box. So to do that, we're going to go down here to padding. We're going to change the padding to 40 pixels. There's a lot of nice space around our text that we're going to add. We're going to click Save. Oh, and let's also make sure that we change this column spacing to no, so there's no space between the columns. And let's go ahead and add some text. Okay, so now let's add a title block to this section here. Let's go ahead and edit that. We're going to use the heading size 1, and that's the largest heading size. We're going to set the text alignment to center. And we're going to set the separator to none, because we don't want a separator on this. Separator color doesn't matter. And then we're going to just type in romance in here to set the text for that, and we're going to click on Save. And now below that, let's add a separator item. Let's click on this. Click on separator. And then for the style, we're going to use single border. Margin top, we're going to make 40. Margin bottom, we're going to make 40. And for this one here, we're going to set the separator color to white. And we're going to click Save. Now let's add one text block below this. As you can see, the separator shows nothing here because the separator color was white. So you just have to know that that's the separator and the color was white. So now let's go ahead and adjust the text, and we'll add some text in here about romance at our hotel. And let's go ahead and align this text center by highlighting it and then clicking the Align Center. And let's change the text color here so that it stands out from our background really well, and we're going to change it to white. Just use this block here and then set it to white. Now, the one thing to know about this is when you set your background color to white, it's going to look like there's no text in here because the default background color for this editor is also white. But just know the text is there. And we'll click Save. I'm not quite finished with that yet, but I just want to sort of show you what this looks like right now and then how we fix it. So we're going to go ahead and click on Update. Remember, whenever you change settings before you move, click Update, then click View Page. So there we go. Obviously, it doesn't look quite right. It's not going full width here, and it's also, these images are kind of, got this sort of high-low thing going on here. So let's go ahead and fix that. So we're going to click on Edit Page. And so to change that look, we need to edit the full width container here and change some of the settings in there. So we need to change the interior content width so that to yes, 100% interior content width to yes. That way it goes all the way across the screen. We want to set the columns of equal height, so it's going to force the columns to be equal height so that one text block isn't larger than the other ones. And then we're going to click on Save. We'll click on Update. And then let's do View Page. So there we go. Really nice looking section here. So now the last thing that I'm going to show you, the last couple of things I'm going to show you how to do is how to adjust this copyright section here so that it reflects the information for your company, and then how to add some sort of important and how to add some additional content into the footer area here of your website, and then also how to set up the menu up here so you've got some different pages that you can link to. So let's go ahead and do that now. So to edit the footer section of our website, we go to the dashboard, and then we go back to the Avada theme options. Okay, and then we click on footer over here. And we can just scroll down here. And it's really nice in this theme that they've given us the ability to adjust the footer really easily. A lot of other themes really want to have their name in the footer, and so they make it a little bit, so they make it difficult for you to change it, and you've got to actually go in there and change the code of the website. But fortunately, they have it right here. So we can change this text here to match our company. And then there is a little bit of code here. This is like the link code here to WordPress and the link code to the Theme Fusion website that makes the Avada theme. We're just going to delete that for right now. Just leave it like this. I'm just going to put hotel in here just for some extra text. So that's how you adjust the footer text there, and we're going to click on Save Changes. So then to add some content into that footer section, we're going to go to Appearances, Widgets, and widgets are what WordPress uses for predefined areas on your website where you want the same content to appear over and over again. So in this example here, on this theme, we've got the blog sidebar. So on our blog page, these widgets are going to be in there, and you can remove them simply by clicking the delete button if you choose to remove them. We've got the footer widget areas here, which is where the content that we can add to the footers are going to be. So let's go ahead and look at how you do that. Now we've got 1, 2, 3, and 4, and there's going to be 1 is going to start on the left, 2 the middle left, 3 middle right, and 4 all the way on the right. But just know that if you only add content to 4 or 3, for example, that this content is going to slide automatically all the way over to the left. It's just the way that the CSS code works on websites, is it's going to just default to staying onto the left. So if you don't fill it all up, whatever content you choose is going to just sort of be on the left there. Let's go ahead and add a couple of content items to this. So for the widget 1 content, let's add a contact information. It's just a basic contact information section here. So Maltese Falcon Drive, phone number. We don't need a mobile number, email, tim@realwebsitehints.com. And if you wanted to have the link, you would use this section here, and then we could add the website. We don't need to do that, and then we'll just click Save. Close this up. And then for the widget section 2, I like to use this recent works thing here, and that's going to show things from the portfolio section of our website. And I'm going to add some portfolio items, because if you put in the images into the portfolio section, it shows up on this recent works and it looks really nice. But if you don't have a portfolio, any portfolio items, you're not going to want to add this section because it's not going to look good, because it's not going to show anything. And then for widget area 3, let's add our Twitter widget. Just go ahead and drag that in right there. And it's got instructions on exactly how to do this right here. And I think that the easiest thing to do is to use the Twitter style, and it gives you a little bit of control over that. And we just need to add in our Twitter widget ID. And the instructions on how to do that are on this page right here with this link. And then I'm just going to enter in my tweet widget ID. I'm going to set this to just 1 tweet because I found that that looks the best on the home page. And since the color of the footer is dark, I'm going to change this to dark. I'm going to make the link color. I'm going to make the link color our default main color. I think that's light enough to look good there. And then I'm going to have it not show the borders, not show the footer or header, and that's the footer or header of the Twitter box, and because I think that just looks best. I'm going to click on Save. Okay, and then let's add one more widget here to the footer section, and that's going to be this social links Twitter. That's going to be this social links section here, and that's just going to show our social media links. So I don't have the links right now, but you can just enter in the links for your various different social media platforms. I'm just going to enter in a hash just so we can see what they look like on the home page here. And then just click save at the bottom there. And now let's look at adding a menu. So the first thing we need to do is to add a couple of pages, just some temporary pages here. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I'll be right back. So now after you've added a few pages to your website, we can go ahead and adjust the menu. So to adjust the menu, we go to Appearances, Menus, and then we want to do Create New Menu here. And I think we're already in that setup here. So we can just type in a main menu name. So we'll call this one Main Menu. And then we'll do Create Menu. And now we can add the pages that we want to our menu here. So we'll click Home so that our viewers can easily get back to the home page. And then we'll just add these additional pages here, and we'll click Add to Menu. It's pretty much that simple. And then to order it, it's going to be left to right, top to bottom. So we want the home page to be first, blog page to be second, and then page 1, 2, and 3. And then as you can see, if you drag something to the right a little bit, it's going to make this a sub-menu. So it's going to make this a drop-down item here. In this case, we don't want that. We just want to leave this like this. And then we want to add this to the main navigation area for our website. So that's going to be where the main navigation of our website is, and that's going to be the main title for our website. And that's going to automatically add it there. And then you probably do not want to check this box, but this is going to automatically add new top-level pages to this menu. So probably just leave that unchecked and then click Save Menu. And now let's go ahead and view what our site looks like. So there we go. Now we've created a great looking website, and I've shown you how to use the Avada theme, and you can see just how much power the Avada theme really has to make your site look great. Now, if you've got more questions about how to use the Avada theme, please go ahead and leave a comment below. And if you want to read the full written instructions for this tutorial, you can find them at realwebsitehints.com/Avada tutorial. And be sure to subscribe to my channel for more tips and tricks and tutorials on how to make building websites as easily as possible. Thanks for watching.